The world loves to tell you that creativity is a divine accident, a gift from the gods, that you have to wait for lightning to strike and hope you're fast enough to catch it. But as two working creatives who live this every day, we're here to tell you today, creativity is not an accident. Today, we're pulling back the curtain, not to spoil the magic, but to hand you the keys. We'll show you how to stop waiting for inspiration and start creating the exact conditions where your best ideas can't help but appear. And how the right accountability partner can turn those lightning flashes into finished work. Are you ready to hear what Sting, Picasso, and Beyoncé do when no one's watching?
Welcome to Big Dreams and Little Things. I'm Wronski-Ellis. And one thing I've realized about myself preparing this episode is that I'm pretty good at reinventing who I am as life takes new directions.
And I'm Karina Kampe, and we have a confession. We used to be those people with amazing ideas that somehow just turned into new amazing ideas. But then we're often left unfinished.
But then we started working together as accountability partners, and something shifted. Not just with follow-through, but with creativity itself. It's like having someone witness your ideas. It makes them more real.
Now, we know you already have everything you need to create something extraordinary, but we truly believe that together is absolutely stronger than alone. It enhances the experience, and what a coincidence. We're simply here to walk beside you.
In today's episode, we're focusing on a favorite subject, creativity, and how you can access that force when you need it, not just out of luck. And we'll also spotlight some creative ways to break through mental blocks and tell the stories of some very well-known people to exemplify it, because it happens to everyone.
Also, you'll get some exercises to try right along with us. And here's another thing. It doesn't have to be life-changing to be life-changing, if that makes any sense. We're not asking you to quit your day job, move countries, or get a divorce.
No, we certainly don't. But just to take one step today towards a more creative and fulfilling life.
And have a bit of fun doing it.
Yes. And to start off, let's look at some pretty incredible people who faced creative walls and climbed right over them.
And these aren't just nice stories. They're living proof that reframing your approach can unlock doors you didn't even know were there. As the voice and the writer of some of the most acclaimed songs of all times, Gordon Sumner, or as you might know him, Sting, had everything a songwriter could want: fame, fortune, success. After the Police were broken up, the band he had formed with Stuart Copeland and Andy Summers, he had become a successful solo artist. But then something suddenly shifted, and he hit a wall. For years, nothing came. Days became weeks that became months as he stared at a blank page, asking himself, have I already said everything worth saying? Have I lost it? And the harder he tried to write another Every Breath You Take, the quieter his creativity became. Expected to be the voice of a certain kind of music, a certain kind of success, he was trapped in a star-crossed rock star icon mode. He didn't know what to do. But being born and raised in the shadow of a shipyard in a small town on the coast of England, he went back to what he knew. He stopped trying to be Sting. Instead, he began trying to tell someone else's story, someone without a voice. He began to write from the voice of a Newcastle shipyard worker, someone from the world he'd grown up around. His grandfathers, great-grandfathers, neighbors, they'd all built ships, worked the docks, lived by the tides. And when Sting stepped into that perspective, songs returned. The Last Ship wasn't just a creative breakthrough for him. It was a bridge back to his roots, back to a part of himself he had left behind in his rise to fame, a new way of creating. And it even became a Broadway musical, a new platform to work from. So what would happen if you would create from someone else's viewpoint? She called her Sasha Fierce, bold, commanding, sassy, and unapologetic, all the things she herself found difficult. She loved to sing and dance, but felt vulnerable, hesitant. Her dance teacher, Darlette Johnson Bailey, recalls how young Beyoncé Knowles held on to her for dear life before recitals, but also what a marvelous singer she was. So, Beyoncé did what actresses do all the time, created a character. Sasha could take risks, own the spotlight, bring a level of performance that transcended fear. Over time, Beyoncé didn't need her anymore. Her shyness had evaporated into the magnificent performer we see today. Sasha was always a part of her. She just used her a bit more, expanded that side to help overcome her shyness. The reframe? What if I could be the version of myself that's already fearless?
Picasso once said, "Every child is an artist. The problem is how to remain an artist once we grow up." By the late 1940s, he had already created Guernica and revolutionized modern art. He could have repeated himself endlessly. Instead, he started painting ceramics, experimenting with sculpture, even doodling on napkins at cafes. He approached each medium as if he were discovering it for the first time. He called it child mode and kept his creativity alive throughout his long life. The reframe? What if you approached your craft as if it was brand new to you? Here's the truth. When we give ourselves permission to step out of our boxes and look at the world from another point of view, extraordinary things can happen. Sting needed permission to step out of his star-crossed rockstar icon mode and into the voice of the shipyard worker, the world that raised him. Picasso needed permission to start again, as a beginner.
Beyoncé needed to step out of her own mind to dare to be who she really is.
So, here's the ultimate reframe. What if creativity isn't about becoming someone else, but about becoming fully who you already are, including the parts you've been taught to hide?
Have you ever written from another part of you, Maria?
Yes, I have. I've used different artist names at different stages of my artist life, actually. When I think about it, I've always had a different name depending on the chapter I was in. I've been Ia, I've been Bengal Club Music, recently together with someone else, Neighbours, with Robin Fex, and now in my current writing situation with Tonya, who was our guest in last week's episode. We call ourselves Maronia. I do this because my writing and performing persona is slightly different from my everyday self. I feel like having a separate name helps me step into that role, especially when I go on stage.
Yeah, you're so right. I also have different names for different projects, like Three Small Giants, and then my own stuff, of course, which is more personal. So then I like to keep my own name. But also when I write, I usually like to switch perspective, like point of view. Mm-hmm. To write from a third person viewpoint, for example, like she did it, that makes such a difference. It makes it more filmic. Or a second person, like you did, that makes it so much more personal, and it can make all the difference.
Yeah, I totally agree. Especially third person, I feel it's like I'm watching what I'm actually writing, rather than being in what I'm writing.
Yeah, and suddenly I feel a little bit more like a director.
Yeah, that's true, actually. That's true, yeah. Writer-director.
Mm-hmm. Yes. This episode is powered by ECTA, Empower Change Through Accountability. Big news! ECTA now runs a free online workshop every month. Each one connects with our podcast themes, from clarity and finding your voice to smart decision-making, celebrating the small wins. You know, we love the victory dance. It's 60 minutes of real conversation, knowledge, accountability, and focus work, plus at least one golden nugget you can use right away. Come to one or join us every month and build yourself a whole treasure chest. And if you want to go further, our 3-month course starting in January takes you even deeper. More focus, more support, and yes, probably even more celebrating. Sign up for the next workshop at ectahub.net. We'd love to have you with us. In every episode of Big Dreams and Little Things, we connect our subjects to science to see what makes it click.
And now we've come to that part of today's episode. Mm-hmm. So let's do science.
Yes. Imagine your brain as a theater. On stage, your logical, focused mind delivers lines, solves problems, makes lists. But behind the curtain, that's where the default mode network lives, your backstage crew. It works quietly where you're not paying attention, while you're walking, daydreaming, or simply letting hot water pour over your head in the shower. Harvard researchers discovered that when this backstage team sync with the brain's executive control network, creativity takes the spotlight. The DMN throws out bold, unpolished ideas, while the rest of the brain stepped in as the director, shaping them into something brilliant. So those aha moments that arrive when you least expect them, they're not accidents, they're just your backstage crew whispering the lines of your next great idea.
And here's the twist that most people don't expect. Constraints don't kill creativity. They ignite it. A meta-study of 145 research papers shows the pattern clearly. When we face just enough boundaries, creativity flourishes. Too many rules, you suffocate. Too few, you drift towards the obvious, the safe choice. But give yourself a playful limit. Like write about balloons for 5 minutes, and suddenly your imagination soars.
And then there's the alter ego effect that we already touched on. Todd Herman, who's coached elite athletes and executives, discovered that adopting a heroic alter ego isn't about pretending. It's about accessing a hidden facet of yourself, the bolder, braver, more capable version that already exists. This simple shift creates psychological distance, quiets performance anxiety, and invites risk-taking.
And these aren't just pretty theories. They're patterns we can see in the brain and behaviors we can measure. And the best part? You can start experimenting with them today. Want to go further? In our show notes, we've linked to 3 more science-backed techniques for group creativity, feedback, and rapid prototyping.
We promised this episode will be hands-on, and one of our favorite ways to wake up creativity is called object writing. We first learned it from our lyric writing teacher, Pat Pattison, and such great artists as Gretchen Peters and John Mayer, they swear by it as well.
Object writing teaches you to capture creative impulses in real time, and you turn them into something tangible.
It's really simple, free creative writing, and you write whatever comes to mind from a single trigger word. Your only rule is to engage your senses, and by all means, memories. What you see, hear, smell, taste, feel when you hear the word. Plus, include motion and body sensations. The goal is not a masterpiece. No. Think of it as creative stretching.
And it has to be done by hand, yes. The right hemisphere demands it in order to show up.
And if nothing comes, write that. Damn, my mind is empty. Trust me, it won't stay empty for long, but don't lift that pencil.
Whatever comes to mind, no matter how strange it is, and believe me, it will be sometimes.
Yes.
Just keep that hand moving.
You get to hear your own thoughts. And it's really enlightening.
It really is, because you never know what's going to come.
No.
That time. A lot of times it's, I have nothing to say. I don't know what to say. And then you start thinking and you leave that space, that silence, and then you just go.
Yeah. We'll put some of our work for your inspiration on our webpage, because it's always nice to hear what other gets from the same exercise, the same word.
Yeah. And also, just a little note, don't worry, it will be hard to read your own writing sometimes, because you are writing almost faster than your thoughts are going. So just be mindful of that.
Yes.
Set your timer for 10 minutes and start writing. Put us on pause until you've done. Today's word is rust. Let's go.
Okay, pencil down. Yes, stop mid-sentence. If you only got one word on that paper, remember that's one more than you had 10 minutes ago. Sometimes what come up in those words is a side of you that you don't usually let speak. And when I'm doing object writing and suddenly I'm 7 years old tasting metal playground swings, that's not random. That's my default mode network making connections my logical brain would never choose.
And the constraint of only 10 minutes, keep writing, engage your senses. That's creating the perfect creative sandbox we just heard about in the research.
which is the perfect setup for our next exercise, stepping into a whole other version of you on purpose.
The one that's braver, bolder, or maybe just a little weirder. You can get things done in ways your everyday self might not dare. That's Alter Ego Effect by Todd Herman.
And now it's your turn.
Give yourself permission to access the parts of you that already exist. The ones that might be hiding in the corner with a cocktail, waiting for you to notice them.
Well, maybe it's your inner tough-ass nails assistant who never takes no for an answer and can cold call anyone without sweating. Oh, God, I need her.
Yes, I would love her in my life right now.
Yes. How would she handle that pitch?
Or maybe throw on a clown nose or sunglasses or both. I dare you to write an email wearing a clown nose and not feel any different.
Yes. Or Batman. Kids do this all the time.
Yes.
They put on a cape, you know, and instantly become unstoppable.
And if that's how little it needs for you to actually turn into something that you need to be, then I think that's amazing.
Yes.
But also keep something nearby that reminds you of it. A scarf, a pen, a playlist, anything.
Yeah. You know, that's quite a common thing that you can use. You can have something in your pocket, like a trigger. So you can have like a stone that reminds you. You don't have to put on high heels to be Sasha Fierce.
No,
You know?
or a clown nose.
No. But you can have one in your pocket.
Yeah, you can do.
Well, we've made you a downloadable step-by-step Build Your Alter Ego guide because it's too long to do here on the show. It's on our website. Grab it, play with it, and then set a timer for 15 minutes. Create something, anything as your alter ego.
And please tell us how it went. Seriously, we want to know if Batman finally finished your tax return or if Sasha Fierce, you just painted your kitchen bright yellow.
Whew. Here's the magic. You're not becoming someone else. You're becoming the version of yourself that's been waiting for permission to come out and play.
And don't judge it. Don't share it. Just notice, does it feel different? Maybe it feels freer, more like you.
And that's your creativity talking. It was always there. It just needed a little permission and maybe a cape.
I guess you can even call this a tiny experiment, really.
Definitely, you bet. And let's see what happened since we last experimented. Each episode of Big Dreams and Little Things, we take on a new tiny experiments to keep growing and learning. Different things that feel inspiring and expansive. The challenge is inspired by Anne-Laure Lecumpf's work on tiny experiments, which we explored more in episode 11 of season 1. It's been a few weeks since we last checked in, so how did your tiny experiment go, Maria?
Well, it did not go anywhere.
Okay.
I'm afraid to say. I was on holiday when I started. I think I did like 2 days maybe. And then it was just too full on. And I've realized, it made me realize, and then I've come home and life is just...
Yeah, you're in the middle of a move.
Middle of a move with all the stresses that comes with that. So I realized that I need to have the same sort of time of the day to get a routine on it and actually just do it.
Well, last 2 episodes we recorded at the same time.
Yes, we did.
Because we were going away on holiday.
So luckily, Karina has one prepared as well.
Yes. So what did I do? Well, I practiced 1 in, 1 out.
That's right.
If I buy something, I need to throw something out. And I can't say I've done it every time, but I've had it in my mind. And so I feel this urge to get rid of stuff. And it's been really good. I went through the bathroom the other day and just threw out all those old creams and things that were just lying in there. And I've gone through the cupboards to get rid of things that we don't use. And so every time I get something, you know, the idea pops up. Okay, now I need to go through something. And this is really good.
Yeah. I have a question for you. Did you feel that doing this experiment, did you think twice when you also bought something?
No, I haven't gotten to there yet. But I haven't bought that much that really was unnecessary. Well, maybe an ice cream or two, definitely.
But you can't really throw them out.
No. But no, I didn't. Not at this time. That might be the step 2. But I think this shows that it's not always easy, but you have to keep going and try different things. And also, I think it's important what you said, to set up, and this is also something that Anne-Laure Lecomte talked about in her book, like an experiment, like a real science experiment. You have to set up the scene, so to say, that, in this setting, what will happen, that kind of thing. So that would be good. And my next experiment, now this is one big thing for me, because there's so much going on and I get tired and I'm trying to be everywhere and all of that. And I find myself scrolling on the phone to just, kind of relax. But it's not relaxing at all, not for the brain. So me and my husband have been talking about having phone-free evenings. So we haven't decided yet if it's going to be 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, but to put the phone away and not use it for anything else but, to make a phone call, that kind of thing. What it's actually for. So that will be my next experiment.
Oh, I think that sounds amazing, and probably something that's well needed in our lives today. And I think
not to be accessible all the time.
No, you don't need to be accessible all the time, and you don't need your phone like a pacifier. I think it's become that for so many people.
Oh yeah,
that comfort kind of blanket almost. But I think anyone listening, and if you want to try your own tiny experiment, pick something small enough that you can't fail. But from my point of view, then set a timer maybe every day, and don't start it during holiday. But be specific enough. And I think the magic isn't in the experiment itself. It's really in what you learn about yourself as you do it and as you go along the way.
Yeah. And please share with us. We love hearing from you and what you discover. Tag us on Instagram or send us a message. Your experiments often inspire our next episodes. As this is actually the last episode of season 1, I think that we'll do a little reboot of the Tiny Experiments for season 2. And so you will get more.
Exactly. You can say that this was our trial, right?
This was our trial.
Yes. I failed, but I will do it again.
No, you didn't. No, we learned from it.
Today's episode has been so much fun. But before we close, I want to share something I deeply believe in, and I even wrote a book about, and that's the effect on mindfulness on creativity. Because practicing mindfulness helps you connect with your senses, and it can unlock your creativity. Because I think when you pause and you focus and really embrace the present moment, you'll notice your deeper emotions. You can see the little things, and you discover how to maybe craft songs or lyrics or paintings, whatever you're creating, that really reflects your voice. But I just wanted to notice this as this has been such a big part of my life for the last year and a half. But it's a topic that we'll save for another episode as well.
Yes, that will be a whole episode.
Yes.
If you like today's episode, share it with a friend. Save it and come back to the exercises.
All the links, tools and inspiration we mentioned today are waiting for you in the show notes over at www.ektahub.net under episode 15.
You'll also find details there about upcoming EKTA workshops. And if you want a weekly nudge forward from us, make sure to sign up for Backstage Wednesday. That's our weekly newsletter. And we're on YouTube now.
Yay, we are, finally.
Yes, not all of the episodes, but they will be up there.
And surprise, surprise, next episode actually comes just next week. That's because we will talk about the season, this past season, our first season, and collect our best takeaways. And then in 2 weeks' time starts season 2.
Wow!
And yes, and it's about keeping the balance and boundary setting too. We playfully call it inspired by a husband or two. You are not going into the office again, are you? We've never heard that.
No. Now, we've followed the yellow brick road, lifted the rocks or writer's block, created our sparkling imaginative personas, uncovered some science, and enjoyed hanging out with you immensely.
Now comes the reminder that every tiny win deserves to be celebrated.
So thanks for being with us.
Thank you, and always remember, show up
Speak up.
and never skip
the victory
dance.
Okay.
It's the little things that count. The things that make you happy is what life is all about. It's the little things that matter, that take you through the day. A smile from a stranger that brighten up your day.